Hi everyone, Melanie here from Balloon Artworks in Derbyshire in the UK, and today we're celebrating all the fabulous dads out there with this Happy Father's Day mini balloon column. Let's get started straight away. Take some black 5-inch rounds and inflate with 4 strokes of the hand pump. So as soon as you've done inflating, take your hand pump off straight away. Put a twist in that balloon and flatten the top a little bit just to round it off. Hang on to that balloon with your other hand and make sure that your hand pump has returned the down position, and inflate the next one. Off the hand pump straight away, put a twist in there. I'm doing that because if you don't take the balloon off the hand pump, the balloon will start to go down because you will lose air through the pump. Take your 2 balloons, cross the necks over one another, wrap around a couple of times and then tie. Okay? Make another one of these. Take the 2 duplets, just put them together and twist them around one another like that, and that forms a cluster of 4. And make 2 more of these. Next, we're going to do the same thing with some white 5-inch round balloons. So inflate to 4 strokes of the hand pump, that's 4.5 inches. So off the pump straight away, put a twist in that balloon and inflate the next one. Pass the necks over one another, pull across, wrap around a couple of times and tie. Make another one of these, put these 2 together, wrap around one another. You're going to need an 18-inch 4 balloon. This one just happens to be a Father's Day one, but this design also works really well for happy birthday designs. I just like to smooth it out. Don't worry that you've got all these ridges and wrinkles in the balloon. They will all just disappear like magic very shortly. Okay, so this is the bit that you're looking for. This is the valve, okay? And you're going to need a hand pump because we're inflating this with air. And all you do, you just put the nozzle of the hand pump into that valve and start to inflate with air. It's great for the upper arms, great exercise. Keep going, but as you get to this point, we're not quite inflated, but we are very close. So as you get to this point where we're almost inflated, you have to go very, very slowly now and very carefully because it's very easy to overinflate the balloon and then it will burst. So, a couple more strokes, I think. Okay. And what I'm looking for the balloon to feel full. So all those horrible creases have gone, apart from the creases here. Now we're supposed to have creases here. That's what the balloon is intended, how the balloon is intended to look. But those vertical and horizontal creases from being folded up in the packet have all disappeared. So these creases here, that's how it's supposed to look. And what you're looking for is you should be able to just walk your fingers along the seam of the balloon like that. And as you remove your finger, the balloon pops back into shape, okay? So that's a one way to test whether your balloon is properly inflated. Next, I'm using a 260 balloon. And if you don't have one of these modelling balloons, don't worry. You can use a piece of curling ribbon if that's what you've got. If you don't stock these normally, if you don't have these type of balloons normally, you don't need to go and buy one if you're just making an odd 1 or 2 of these. If you're making these regularly, then I do recommend you get them. But if you're just making an odd one for Father's Day, then use a bit of curling ribbon or something like that. Okay, and what I've done, I've just snipped the tip end off. I do that automatically because what I find is that when I'm using this, if I don't snip off the end, you can sometimes get a little air bubble within the knot that when you're tying your balloon, and that can weaken the knot. So this technique applies whether you're using a 260 to tie up your valve and for balloon, or whether you're using a piece of curling ribbon. So what I do, I just lay that 260 or bit of curling ribbon flat on the top of this neck to the valve, and then I just fold up the end, and then I keep rolling up this 260 into the neck of the balloon. Okay, so I'm just rolling that up. Okay, that's all nice and neat. And when I get to this point where I'm about an inch away from the edge of the balloon here, from the seam, I take that neck and valve and I fold it in half like that. And then I just pinch hold of it. I'm going to have to swap hands. So I pinch hold of it, and then I take hold of the ends of this 260 or your bit of ribbon, whatever you're using, and I just tie a knot. Okay, so I'm still holding on to everything. I've tied a knot there. But this isn't yet properly secured, because if I let go, there's a good chance this will start to undo. So I like to tie a second knot. So there you've got your balloon tied off. It's all nice and neatly tied off. Okay, so this goes into a nice point and just finishes everything off really nicely. So take 2 sets of duplets, and you just want to place them on top of one another at the centre like that, and then just take hold of one of the balloons and wrap them round. Okay, so that's connected those what we call duplets together into a cluster of 4. Next we're going to do the same thing with our white balloons, so we just place them one over the other and pass one balloon over the top. Okay, so with your black balloons first, that's the layer we're going to start with, just take hold of one of the necks from your balloons, and then take hold of your white balloons and place them on top of the black balloons, pull that neck through and hold on to the neck, because what you're looking out for, you want to make sure that your white balloon on top is in this gap here between the 2 black balloons on the layer below. So everything is offset, okay? And then take that neck and just wrap it around that top layer of balloons in what we call a figure of 8 motion. Okay, and keep wrapping, and then at about this point you're running out of balloon neck and it's not going to go any further, so just let it go. Okay, and that has connected those 2 clusters of balloons together. So with your black balloons first, that's the layer we're going to start with, just take hold of one of the necks from your balloons, and then take hold of your white balloons and place them on top of the black balloons, pull that neck through and hold on to the neck, because what you're looking out for, you want to make sure that your white balloon on top is in this gap here between the 2 black balloons on the layer below. So everything is offset, okay? And then take that neck and just wrap it around that top layer of balloons in what we call a figure of 8 motion. Okay, and keep wrapping, and then at about this point you're running out of balloon neck and it's not going to go any further, so just let it go. Okay, and that has connected those 2 clusters of balloons together. The next thing we want to do is take a little weight. So if you may have a weight that you bought, a balloon weight that you bought, you can use that. Or you may have made something like a water weight. I have a video showing you how to make a water weight. I'll leave that in the description below. But take a weight, and what we're going to do, mine is a weight inside a balloon, and even if this is, for example, a purchased weight and you've attached a little 260 to it or a bit of ribbon, the same principle applies. You need to pull that weight into the base, so you're pulling either the neck of the balloon or a bit of ribbon in between these two balloons, bringing it right the way up through both layers, and then again we're just moving round in a figure of 8 motion. And we're just wrapping the neck of that balloon or the bit of ribbon in there, okay? And that's really securely attached now. We're now going to add more layers or more clusters of 4, and to do this I'm using a 260, and again you can use a 260 or you could use something like curling ribbon or a Dacron line. What I would say, if you're using curling ribbon, be very, very careful, because as you pull the curling ribbon into the cluster, as you'll see in a second, the curling ribbon is quite sharp on the edges and it can put a very slight tear into the latex balloons, and it can cause them to go down. So this is a latex 260 modelling balloon, and this isn't going to cause the other balloons to go down, okay? So I'm taking the tip end and I'm just wrapping the tip end lots of times, as we've done before, figure of 8, around that top layer, okay? Now if you want to be extra careful or extra sure, you can tie this tip onto one of the nozzles. That's entirely up to you. I haven't done that, and that is perfectly secure, and that's because I've wrapped the 260 around lots of times and the latex grips to latex. So it's quite satisfying actually. Okay, right, carry on. So take your next cluster of black balloons, place them on top of the first 2 clusters, and again we're offsetting the colours. So you can see with this pattern, what I like about this pattern is you can see really clearly how you need to be building up the layers and offsetting the balloons. So again, we've got a white balloon in between the gap in the 2 black balloons, and the 2 black balloons should line up with the 2 black balloons on the first layer. Okay, so take your ribbon or 260, put it up in between that cluster on the top, and again we're just going round in a figure of 8. Okay, so again, all nice and secure. Next, take a cluster of white balloons, put them on the top. You know what I'm going to say. Pull that 260 up in between the balloons, and as before, the white balloons should line up with the white balloons below, and the black balloon should go in between the gap in the 2 white balloons, and then take that neck of the modelling balloon and just pull it up through, okay? And again, that's really very secure. Take your next cluster of black balloons, pull them 260 up, wrap around. Okay, and then this is our last cluster of 4 balloons to go on the top. So pull that 260 up in between the balloons, the white balloons, and wrap around. Okay. So you can see this pattern of alternating black and white, but the white lines up, the black balloons line up, so it's really easy to spot if you've gone wrong somewhere, and it's highly unlikely with this design and this pattern that you will do. So with this pattern, I've used 3 layers of black balloons, so that's 12 5-inch round black balloons, and I've used 3 layers of 5-inch round white balloons, so that's another 12 white balloons. With this, what's left here, if you've got a lot of 260 left, you can always bring that back down and just wrap in between the balloons. Just adds a little bit more, another layer of security, but you don't have to do that. Next, I'm taking this Happy Father's Day 4 balloon, and to my eye, this balloon does have a front and a back, and that's because of the barcode here. So I tend to put this balloon at the back. So if I'm going to display this, if I'm responsible for putting a display like this up somewhere, I would always put it with the barcode at the back, okay? So all you need to do is take the tails from your 260, pull them down into the centre of the, right into the centre there, of the top layer. So pull those down and just wrap around that top layer in that figure of 8 position, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing with this side. So again, figure of 8 around. Okay, and that's not going to come off. And then when you're running out of tail, all you need to do is just stretch this and they'll ping in and you won't see them. There's your fabulous Happy Father's Day tabletop balloon column, and I'll see you again in the next video.